Welcome to the Automotive Diagnostic Podcast. We're going to explore ways to sharpen our diagnostic skills, find learning resources, and hear from experts in the automotive field. Hey, what's going on, automotive world? Welcome to another episode of the Automotive Diagnostic Podcast. My name is Sean Tipping, and I will be your host once again for today's episode. Thank you for joining me. On the show this week, I have Nooh Alhamad joining me. Nooh is a local shop owner here in the Twin Cities. He's a listener of the podcast and a friend of mine. We've done some work together, hung out together. He's a good guy. He's going to share on the podcast his journey coming up in the industry, how he got to owning a shop. Some of the struggles that we've both faced in the automotive industry, and we're also going to talk about investment, not only in tooling, but also in yourself, why it's important, what you can do, and what the return is on that. So, great conversation. I enjoyed it a lot. Hopefully you will as well. But with that out of the way, let's jump in. So I'm considering what it would take in order to do these podcasts with video. And I know it'll be extra work, but I also know that there's a much bigger audience on YouTube, and I don't know, there's other ones out there, other video streaming services, but like there's definitely a wider range of audience or bigger audience to be had if I had video up. But what is that going to entail? Like, I could get it set up on my end pretty easily. I mean, I got my camera on right now and I can record that. But then for the other person, it would be like one extra step in that. So I don't know. I'm thinking about it, but I'm not really sure. It's more editing and stuff too, of course. But yeah, I don't know. Might do that. We'll see.
I haven't looked, but I know ASOG has the episode on just audio on the YouTube. Do you have yours as audio on YouTube too, or you don't even have that yet?
I do. I have a YouTube channel, and I have roughly half of my episodes up where it's just audio only, and a couple of them I included some pictures of what I'm talking about. And yeah, not a whole lot of people are subscribed to those because you can get the same thing through a podcast app, but if there was video of it, I feel like maybe attract a few more people to watch,
Yeah. I mean, I would say I think a lot more professionals are actually like listening to you, just because we can picture what you're doing in a way,
Yeah, that's true.
And I think that YouTube okay, let me tell you this. Okay, you ever heard of a guy named Blue Collar Kyle?
I haven't.
Okay, so this guy does body work. Okay, and I found him randomly on Snapchat, and then all of a sudden his page blew up. Now, he's a content creator, like where it shows up on. I don't know if you have Snapchat or not, but like when you get a bunch of views, whatever, you move to the bottom, like you're not like a regular friend anymore, whatever, because you have many subscribers or many viewers, and on top of that, he's got a YouTube channel and all that. And the thing about him is a lot of people are even more interested in the auto body industry, whatever, some say like kind of like through him because they get to see it real life. He uses these Snapchat glasses, and he took out the lenses and put regular safety lenses on it, whatever. And then he got the little cameras with it. So it just records him literally working every day, from sanding to grinding to pulling frame and all that.
Damn. That's crazy.
So I'm trying to get with this because, like, if you could show a little bit, even like like your regular podcast, but maybe have pictures or whatever, or wire diagrams that you could trace, for those who are beginners or are still, new. I think they'll enjoy that more, because not a lot of people do programming on YouTube. I'm sure there is, but it's mostly diag and stuff. So I think your page will get a lot of hits, man.
Yeah. So I got to strap out like a GoPro on my head or something while I'm going around to these cars.
I know, right? Even if one. Yeah. The Jake Barnes, he just I think he just started a YouTube channel.
Okay.
And his thing is pretty neat. He did a few modules. I got really excited. I'm like, oh, thank God. EEPROM, EMCUs. That's all I want to know about.
Nice.
You know? Oh yeah, yeah. But yeah,
Yeah.
dude.
You'd see some pretty crazy stuff. I mean, there's the cool stuff, the modules and the programming, the diagonal, but you go into some of these shops and some of these places are something else. I was working on a car in the shop, and it's Vietnamese owned, which I don't know if that has anything to do with it, but I am working, and the guy is kind of like around the vehicle where I just can't see him, but I hear just like water or a liquid streaming, like just like like liquids falling from one spot to another. I was like, oh, what's that? And I look around the corner, and dude's just pissing into the floor drain, like right there in the middle of the shop.
Swear.
and hey, I get it. Like, I'm a guy. I pee outside. I've peed in a sink if I have to, like I'll do that. But I didn't expect it like right in the shop setting, but that was just his normal thing. And I mean, they had a bathroom. Like I've used it before, but he's just like, yep, there we go. And I was a little surprised, but I'm like, oh, all right.
Oh my God, dude. Did you at least yell at him, or you?
No, hey, do your thing, man. You gotta go. You gotta go. I get it, but there's different levels of shops and different etiquette and different places,
Yeah,
so
yeah. Wow. Yeah, I'm trying to get that. Remember, I told you, I'm trying to get rid of the whole other side.
yeah.
So I can stop thinking about fucking doing the huge big jobs, whatever. I'll still have the I call my dead hoist. That's the one in the back, when you come into the shop, there's two hoists, one in front of the other.
Yep.
Yeah, I'll keep the one in the back like as dead hoist, for those interesting big jobs, something that's worth it.
Yeah.
Not like a Toyota Camry engine room. Like, come on, dude. I've already been here. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Somewhere where you can pull it in, you don't have to move it in and out every single day, and it's not in the way of the rest of the work.
Yeah. So as soon as that other shop, once I clear all that stuff, I'm gonna take all my equipment and put it on the other side, and I'll try to epoxy the floor and make it all look nice and stuff. Shiny. I might redo the office again.
Okay.
It just sucks because like I'm renting, and that's the thing. Like, fuck, I'm gonna put all this money, and get rid of all this equipment that I could be, just put as assets. Let's say if I end up selling the shop,
Yeah. Do you have the option to buy the building or something like that?
Yeah, I'm trying, bro. I'm trying so hard. But this is place they built it in the '60s. The family.
Yeah.
And it's and it's a huge family. So there's got to be a lot of convincing in between them before they decide to sell it. But I'm really good friends with the oldest son, that's still alive, whatever, and that's not retired. And I mean, he didn't say no. That's the thing,
Okay.
But he did definitely tell me like, hey, what you got to convince me, to sell whatever,
Sure.
Yeah. And he went through a couple weird things, like his oldest son died, and his older brother died, like stuff like that, So that's why I'm like, hey, you ever think about selling it? That's why I kind of even made that move. But I shot my shot. We'll see what happens. Huh?
Okay.
I'll try again next year.
Yeah. What you said you're clearing out the other side. What's your plans for that space then?
Well, I mean, I hope to get into ADOS. I don't know when, just because I have a shop,
Yeah.
I'm not really all. I don't know how they do it mobile, but then again, I haven't experienced that myself. Maybe there's, that might be. I think the space they have set up, whatever, but I don't really know much about it. I'm not 100%, on how all that works, how the business side of it runs. How do you schedule all that? But that's one thing. The other is really just to make sure, like the front office and the front two bays, for the in and out, the daily stuff, where my regular cash flow, happens. If I have to bring a customer in and show him, like, I want it to look better. I'm sure it's fine. You know what I mean? Somebody was like, yeah, this is what a shop should look like anyways. You know what I mean?
Yep. Yep.
And I've worked at messy shops, dude. I have worked at messy shops. Like, oh my God,
Yeah.
It's surprising that I could even try to be this clean, Yeah. So I've been,
Yeah, I think some people, it definitely depends on the person, but some people almost expect that. Like, that's what a shop looks like you say, and they're not fazed by it at all. But there's other people where they want to see the whole thing reflects professionalism, right? And so that's clean and tidy and well lit and all that stuff. So, it all depends on the clientele that you're working with or what you're hoping to work with, I think.
Well, that's the thing, and that's it too. Because I don't really like know them. I can't remember all of them. It's kind of like a hit and miss, whatever. I have some clients that have European cars. Not all of them come to me. Some prefer me, whatever. But I wanna, if I ever get deep with this, this EPROM stuff, and and I get really deep with this programming and stuff, I want to try to approach a different type of customer base. And it's not necessarily like, hey, I'm gonna quit working on Chevys, but I want an option because Brooklyn Park is huge. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Yeah, and then I don't know if you see where I'm at. If you go north, like to Noble area, whatever, those are some nice houses, and there I'm sure there's some people have some nice cars in there.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Instead of them driving all the way to Minneapolis, for all the Euro shops and stuff,
yeah.
Maybe if I could get one out of that, the hundreds that are in that area or 1,000, fuck, that's fine with me. I'll do it with that.
Yeah. So we probably should have started with this, but that's fine. You are a local shop owner here in the Twin Cities area, and we met each other through the podcast, and we've done some work together since then. Hung out. You came down to ASTE, and we hung out and had some good food and had a good time. Why don't you just share with everybody how you got into what you were doing? Like, how did you become owner of the shop in Brooklyn Park?
Okay. Yeah. So, I want to say like between 03 and 05, I started and I was too young to go into a shop. So my dad was kind of like janitor, did some tire and oil changes, whatever. And he convinced the owner like, hey, would you allow my son to come and learn, And my dad was smart here because, I could have been with the wrong crowd, you know what I mean? With drugs and all that stuff. But instead, I'm like, yeah, it's fine, whatever. So I went in. And there was this guy, he was Palestinian. I don't know if he's still in the States or not, but he would rebuild starters, alternators, and compressors in his little corner office inside the shop. So he'll work as an electrician, and mechanic, but like because the shop, that shop had like 40 taxi cabs, So all he had to do was prepare and have ready starters, alternators, compressors, literally just for those Crown Vics.
Okay.
And he was set. So for those 2 years, I was on and off, whatever. That's all I did because I couldn't like be in the shop because I was too young. And then I want to say 05 or so, I slowly started getting into that outside into the shop and started learning mechanic. At this point, I have no formal schooling or whatsoever. This is all like really experienced techs who I really appreciate what they did, to take the time to even tell me what the hell is a 10 millimeter socket. You know what I mean? I didn't know what's righty teddy, lefty loosey was. I didn't know none of this stuff.
Yeah, everybody's got to learn that somehow.
Dude, I would tell you one time, oh my God, there was a Crown Vic, and we're supposed to replace valve cover gasket. And I don't know if you've seen those 8 millimeter bolts, and there's like hundreds of them. Okay. Yeah. I'm pretty sure I broke almost all of them, and then I left for like 2 weeks. I didn't show up for 2 weeks, dude. But the guys put up with me, So, dude, I can name those. Then moving on, and then I decided to, after high school, I went to North Hennepin, and I tried to be engineer. That didn't work, That is way too much calculus, way too much math that I couldn't handle. No way, It's not even about being smarter. I just couldn't stay concentrated. You know what I mean? It doesn't interest me whatsoever. So I'm like, hey, let me go to Dunwoody. So I went to Dunwoody. Okay, I spent a year or so. Not a year. Like probably a year. Okay, and I'm like, well, am I really gonna be a mechanic? So I'm back. I'm like, let me do business. And in North Hennepin. This is the same time I'm still working at the shop on and off, on weekends. Okay. So, when it's summertime, I would work there full time, 7 days a week, So all the way, I want to say until like 2011, 2012, I'm still at the shop from 05, in and out. So, and then I got a job at a tire shop. Okay. And then from this tire shop, I worked there for a year. That didn't go, as planned, because I lack tooling. Okay. And then on top of that, the stuff they brought in was literally everything. Okay. Like the first job they gave me was a freaking brake lines on this fucking big old box truck, dude. I can't even I can't even name it. I'm like, I've never worked on a box truck. Are you serious? Look at me. Come on, dude. So that was disappointment. Stuff like that, And then one of it is like I remember there was a Land Rover. Okay, the brake lights don't work. Okay, and I'm like, dude, it's a brake switch. Like I'm at it. Like I'm testing it. It's literally a brake switch. And keep in mind, I'm still like a beginner. Like right now, I would not. I won't say like I'm 100% master mechanic. I know exactly what's going on, but it came down to that. He's like, no, it's not. So he had me running around taking wires out for like a week. Okay. And guess what? He had already ordered the brake switch. He knew that it was a brake switch. Okay. So like that whole conversation, I'm like, why the hell would you like make me waste all this time, make me seem like, an employee that's literally not producing, you pay me for literally nothing when like, you just don't listen. Like it was weird like that. And I don't want to call him out, but that's kind of what it is working with Arabs,
Okay.
This whole back home thing, man, nobody really appreciates mechanics like here in America. That's a true thing, bro,
Oh, and you want to tell everybody where you're from because you came over from another country when you were a kid?
Yeah. So I'm from Iraq originally, Nasri, Iraq, if you want to know that. And then, I came here. I was 10 years old. Oh, I turned 10 years old to Ohio. And then I moved here. And so I just, my dad, when I was born, my dad was he had to get out of the country. So I was 6 months old and he had to get out. So for 10 years, I didn't know if my dad even survived or not, basically,
Okay.
So at 10 years or so, he's like, hey, you're coming to America. So that was like really weird because he went like from being super poor to like not even having food to eat, to all of a sudden like, what? You're going to America? That's like a dream,
Yeah.
So that's kind of the short end of the story, And then, and then we came here and then I was in Fridley, and then I lived in all those, but it's mostly Minnesota is where I lived at most of my life.
Okay.
Yeah. So after that tire shop, a guy approached me. There's a shop on Brooklyn in Brooklyn Park. He was like, "Hey, this place has been shut down for 6 months. Do you wanna work here, or whatever?" And I decided to take the advantage of that because I'm like, "Hey, what if someday I need to open my own shop? Let me take advantages and actually learn the management side of it." And this guy was a big time realtor, actually, and in the Iraqi community, everybody knows him. So I worked there for a year, and then I had 3 guys with me, and it was like a gas station / service station. Okay. And what was I gonna say? Yeah. So after a year of that, something happened. We left the car outside. Okay. And the car got stolen. Okay. And the customer came in and he was pretty much ready to shoot me, and he brought all 5 of his friends to come shoot me. And then the owner didn't handle it well, So I'm putting together all these years that, I tried to be a mechanic. I'm like, you know what? This is it. I'm going to give this shop or give this whole mechanic field one last time, Because it seems like wherever I go, like I reach the end of the line where I feel like wherever I go, I'm not appreciated, like literally as a person. You know what I mean? Because at this shop, I was doing the engines, I was doing the transmissions, I was doing the timing chains. I was doing the estimating. I was calling the customers. I was trying to order parts, look for parts, all that, while managing these 3 employees and telling them what to do. And still try to produce for the shop. Like, dude, I can't handle all this. What the hell is the point of these employees,
Right.
Like, I'll pull me out of the engine job to do a tire patch. Come on, dude, So,
yep.
Yeah, but I learned a little bit from the business side of him, from profits and all that, how to make sure you get, some money to come in, so you keep your doors open, basically, because it's not all about, you're passionate about something. You know what? I don't think he saw the same passion that I have for cars.
Okay.
Because that satisfaction when you diag in a car, and it's that weird thing that everybody overlooked but then you find it and it fixes the whole car. Like the last episode that you had with the network because of the ground for the liftgate module. That's insane. That's so cool, dude. You know, it's so satisfying, you know? You don't have to tell this guy like, hey, dude, you need 5 modules. Better yet, you need this whole harness, you know? You actually found it. It's so satisfying. And you know, and these owners, they don't see it, bro. They just see a number, you know? And it got me sick. So that's how, I took over this shop. So this shop was a weird situation because it was this old white guy who was trying to retire, okay? But he was pretty set on his price. Okay. I'm like, dude, like you're so old. Like, come on, dude, give me a good deal.
What are you going to do with all this money?
He's already a millionaire, bro. Like, you don't need, this fucking, 40 grand, whatever I'm trying to give you. Like, Jesus Christ. So what I end up doing is I ended up taking a loan because, because my credit was shit, so I had to find somebody to take a loan from. Okay. Mm-hmm. And the other part of the loan, the other, I think 10 or 15,000, I ended up talking it with the owner of that shop, Brooklyn Park Auto, before I took it over. And somehow he's really cool. But I think it's because I showed him like, hey, here's some cash, right in front of you, in your fucking hand. You know? So I think that made him like seem like I was serious, like I was gonna get this. Okay. Yeah. So the first 2 years there, I was by myself, man. And I'm sure you know how hard it is, man, to run an actual shop, This is not, we're not talking about I'm just doing brakes and water pumps. I am doing everything. This guy was mind blown, that, because he only worked out with Chevy. That's all he worked on, literally. Maybe a couple Ford, but it was literally all Chevy. The most famous job he did was the damn intake gaskets on the freaking 3.1 and 3.4s. That's, oh my God, that's crazy, So the first week there, I had an Audi, I had a Volkswagen, and I think I had a Land Rover. The 2 Volkswagen and Audis were timing belts and water pump, where you had to remove the whole front. Core support is like, what the hell are you doing, man? How are you gonna put that shit back together? So it was very, very weird for him. But like, he's like, I think you'll be all right. But yeah, and then so moving forward to like now, basically. So I want to say about it. Well, how long have we known each other? A year, 2 years now, roughly?
Boy, I think it's been close to a couple of years now.
Couple years. So it was weird because I'm like, okay, dude, I have a house, I have a shop, I got a family, everything is okay, What's next for me? What is next for me? I'm like, why don't I finish my freaking ASEs? Let me get those out of the way. So I was on YouTube about the book and all that, and then I'm like, let me see if there's anything on Spotify, and that's how I landed on you. Okay. It was so crazy. Yeah. I'm like, what the hell? And then you're from Minnesota. I'm like, what? No way. So I Facebooked you and then I found you. I'm like, oh my God, he added me, Damn, this is neat. I'm like, it was mind blowing because it's completely different than anything I've ever seen, Because you have to like, I'm like, how should I say this? I'm alone most of the time. You know what I mean? Yeah. You got to figure it out yourself, I'll tell you one time, like, I had this, 2008 or 9, I think, which it was a Ford Escape with the 4-cylinder, the one with the diamond washers and their timing tools, whatever. Yep. So I swapped that engine in it, and the car doesn't want to start. Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, later on, I'm like, dude, this looks like, because, I'm like, I put a starter on it. It's still like, I don't want to say it's background, but it's like catching, like something is going on. Something is off, Like, what if the timing is off? And then I researched it, whatever. It turns out because I took out the harmonic balancer, I fucked everything up. You know what I mean? Right. But hey, how long did it take me? A week and a half to try to figure out, and redo the timing, whatever. So I had to figure everything out. So from you, I found all these other groups that I had no idea even existed.
Yeah. It's the podcast. It's very like centered. It's very narrow for a specific group of people that are going to find it interesting, right? And I've had people ask me, like, friends that are not in the auto industry, like, hey, you have a podcast? Send me a link. I'll listen to it. And I'm like, dude, you're going to have no interest in this. Like, you're not going to follow it. Like you say, like, if you're not in this, visualizing it in your head without a picture is pretty difficult. Like, it's not going to be it's not really going to be relevant. I mean, even some of the interviews, those might be interesting to people, but again, if you're not in the industry, it'd be me listening to a podcast about the hair industry. Like,
yes,
I'm sure there's great people. I'm sure there's professionals. I'm sure it's interesting for if you're in it, but if you're not. So anyways, yeah, there's a narrow people, but I will say this too. You have a different mindset than 90% of the shop owners in at least the area that I serve, or maybe I should say the shop owners that I interact with on a weekly basis. You're looking to improve yourself, like however and whenever you can. And it's definitely not the common thing when it comes to a lot of even techs, but shop owners as well, is just like, all right, this is how we've always done it. This is how we're going to keep doing it. And these cars are getting more difficult, but screw these cars. We're just going to keep doing it the same way. Right. And just beating their heads against the wall, not improving or not even attempting to improve, not even going out to seek out new information and ways to do things. So I gotta hand it to you there, because you're definitely ambitious to make your abilities more and improve your day-to-day life in the shop.
You have to, dude. My thing is, I really appreciate it, by the way. I really thank you, dude. It means a lot to me that you think, that I'm ambitious, because you're my hero, remember, right? You're my hero, bro.
you got problems if I'm your hero.
Yeah, dude. I mean, the thing is, I think that's the only reason why my shop stayed open, especially during COVID and all that crap, Honestly,
okay.
It's because, if I have no employees, how the hell do I keep the damn shop open,
Yeah.
So the only way to do it is, try to be the best in that damn shop. You know what I mean? Which I know, from a big shop point of view, that doesn't make sense, because you should always hire somebody who's better than you, whatever, so they can make you money while you focus on the business. But I don't really care about the money, man. The money's going to come no matter what. As long as you show up to damn work, you open your doors. I guarantee you somebody will call you either about a brake light bulb, a brake job, or maybe a transmission flush. You know what I mean? There is so variety of jobs you can do to make money. So, if you're in it for money, kudos for you, whatever, go make your money, whatever. But if you don't have the passion, this is how I see it. You know what I mean? If you don't have the passion to figure out a way, so when the time comes, you get yourself out of a pickle, why are you wrenching? Be a service advisor, It's weird. I mean, to me, dude, this whole, when you got me to that Mike's class, the EPROM, MCUs, dude, you should see my YouTube. Oh my God. It is literally, that's all it is. On my phone, on my computer. Dude, I built a computer thinking that I was getting a game on it. Dude, all it is, everything about EPROMs and MCUs. That's all it is. And I can't wait. I can't wait to, to announce it on my page. And I don't know. My page is pretty stale. I'm barely ever on it.
Okay.
Because I most of my phone calls are literally from Google. All the serious people literally just call me from Google. I want to say I think they're serious, because even the messages, if I do respond to a Google message, it actually ends up being somebody who's actually wants to come to the damn shop.
Okay.
All the Facebook stuff, it's a hit and miss. Yeah. So I don't really trust it. So I don't really care for it, but it's cool. I like to. Before I thought it was really cool. If I upload how to take an engine out, whatever. But now it's like, what the hell, dude? I am so far behind, dude. I got so much catching up to do. I'm redoing my whole point of view on how to work on a car.
Well, the car's so big now, and there's so many different areas that you can now dive into a whole different world and be an expert in that and learn and watch a million YouTube videos on one specific area, like board level work or ADAS. Or I think one of the things that's kind of forgotten about nowadays, or at least in our circles and the people we talk with, is, hey, there still is the mechanical work. There's still the engines and the transmissions and pulling dashes for evap cores. And that's still sought after skills, profitable and necessary. It's just, I don't think it's quite as flashy as doing EPROM work, right? Or diagnostics or scoping stuff. But it's just
add-on. Go ahead.
Yeah. It's just, there's so many different areas that you can devote your time to and specialize in nowadays. And for me, it's like I have to pick which ones are going to be that for me. Like I haven't gotten into ADOS, and I honestly don't see myself in the near future doing that because I just have so many other things going right now that I have to focus on, that I just, one more big thing like that, it's not going to happen for me at this moment.
Yeah, you definitely need another man with you, bro. You know? Yeah. Didn't you say you have somebody coming on, by the way, soon?
I do.
Yeah.
For first of the year, I'm going to have an employee. I've got a second van, and I've been buying a bunch of equipment to double the stuff, or at least the stuff that I'm going to have him doing. And I thought I was spending a lot of money on the business before, but then once you start setting up a second vehicle, you're like, whoa, and there goes, the money's just flying out. But it's just a reinvestment in the business.
Yeah,
you know,
doesn't it feel awesome? Even if you lose all of it, doesn't it feel awesome?
Yes,
you know, because
cool.
You're literally passionate about it, and you want to wake up every day to go do this fucking amazing thing to save somebody's ass. You can't beat that. You literally can't beat that.
That is so important to like what you're doing. You know, especially if you're going to own a business, like you're going to be working at it many more hours than the average person is working just a job, and so. You better like it. If you don't have a passion for it,
yeah, dude,
that's gonna be a sucky existence to work, 70, 80 hours a week at something that you're not passionate about. I couldn't see myself doing that at all,
dude. Oh my god, dude, the beginning 2-3 years, dude. There's sometimes I don't come home until 1 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
Literally, I'm there at 7. I try to work a couple of cars or so before we open at 9. Because I've always had it at 9, just that most people don't really wake up until then anyways,
Mm-hmm.
At least what I've seen it, I've never had somebody like, oh, dude, I open at 6, because I worked at shops that open at 7 to 8, whatever, Nobody ever shows up at damn 8,
It's all the old people. We call it the oatmeal club at Firestone.
There you go.
Yeah, those are the ones. They were there waiting for you to open your doors at 7 a.m. So
hell yeah, dude. Hell yeah. There's a guy next to me actually that does furniture, and he's there at 3 a.m. because people go to work at like 4:30 in, and they drop off their furniture for them to upholster.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
okay.
And so he has to be asleep by 5 p.m. I think.
Yeah, I suppose so.
That's too much, But yeah.
I like getting going early. That's always been my style. Is like get the work done and get done sooner. But then doing this stuff, it's never ending. I mean, lately it's been all the work I can handle and more. That's why I'm getting an employee, because it's just doesn't stop, doesn't slow down. So I'll get somebody else on.
You're definitely playing it smart. And then since you're friends with all the guys at the ASOC, definitely keep in touch with them about, how to, because the thing is, because you're a nice guy, Sean, and your prices are really good, but at a point where you have an employee or whatever, you're going to have to think about all your prices, stuff like that. Now, I'm not an expert on how to run a big old business or how to expand a business. I know how to, stay alive. I'm a survivor, you could say.
Sure.
What I mean?
Sure.
Yeah, definitely, keeping track with them so that way you make sure that your employee's happy, but also your bank account is not drained. So that's the thing to think about in the future. You know what I mean? Because I'm sure with tooling and updates and all that, and then incentives for him, and all that. Yeah, so just keep that in the back of the mind. I'm sure.
Oh no, it definitely is, and I've upped my rates, and it's probably going to happen again.
Yeah.
It was going to happen either way. Like if I didn't hire somebody, I was going to have to, because like I need some of them to drop off, right? Like I can't handle all this work, so I'm gonna bump it up in order to get people just the less volume, and then still make the same amount. But with an employee, you're gonna have to. I've learned a ton from listening to the shop owner business side of things, like through that ASOP podcast, because that's not my nature. Like I have no education, and besides what I'm doing now, very little experience on the business side of it. So there's a ton to learn there as well, and a lot of time that you got to dedicate to it to do it right.
Mm-hmm, definitely.
I'll tell you one thing: the diagnostic rate is definitely going up. Again, I already did that, but I'm doing it again because I have found if you're doing diagnostic programming and keys, right? The amount of money in a certain given amount of time that you can make doing programming keys, just it doesn't compare to diagnostics. Outside of a few that are like, oh, I've seen this before, I'll just, you've got it figured out in 10, 15 minutes, but a lot of them, the ones I'm getting called for, aren't like that. And so then I'm looking at my whole day and I'm like, well, if I would have just programmed, I could have gotten 2-3 jobs done, made way more money than doing the diagnostics. So that's going to go up just to make it worthwhile. And again, maybe bump a few of the bottom feeders off.
So I'm just curious, maybe just so I get a different perspective. So, because I mean, the diagnostic side, like I've always struggled on how to really price it,
Yeah.
Because just already, like, once I find what it is, it's probably already going to be too much for the customer to fix, And it could be my part of town, don't forget that. It could be because I'm around, shops that are maybe cheaper or a little bit more expensive, or maybe have a bigger clientele, and I'm getting, the cheap customer. You never know. But so why just for the other people, who have a different idea or don't really have a good idea on how to charge for diag, whatever, what do you usually, how do you go about it? Like, let's say it's something that you think, or you look at it, you're getting through the normal steps that you do, and then you're like, fuck, this might be like a 3-4 hour thing or a 2-day thing.
Yep.
How do you go about that? Why don't you tell us a little bit?
So I have a show up fee. Like if I come in, like the other day, I went to a shop, and I'm not going to name the shop, but no, I went into the shop. They had a GMC Sierra that they had put a motor in, and it was the direct injection motor, that one of the newer ones. Okay. And they said they're having issues. The fuel pressure they told me the rail pressure sensor was not reading any fuel pressure, even though the engine would start and run, it would throw this code. And I go in, I hook up my scan tool, and I see that the rail pressure sensor does have pressure. I was like, well, that's weird. I thought you guys said it didn't have pressure. Well, I scroll down a little bit further. The low side pressure sensor didn't have pressure, right? And so I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to look at this sensor, then the low side, which is underneath the car on the line, like right under the driver's seat almost.
Oh, okay. Yep.
So it's two sensors, right? There's a high side and a low side. It's direct injection. And not all cars have the low side, but this one does. So I lift it up and the sensor's unplugged. And I plug it in and I get my pressure reading. And that's what they were chasing that, but they didn't realize there's two sensors. They were getting a code for, no output, or I think it might have actually been circuit, I don't recall, for fuel pressure. And they were going after the high side, and they went through like the harness and their Omen stuff out, and like just completely in the wrong spot. But I'm in and out of there in like 10 minutes, right? I'm like, hey, the sensor's unplugged. Okay. And,
people can see your eyes right now. It'd be so funny.
Yeah. I mean, it's hard. I always try to like support the technicians and like, hey man, this is a tough thing. That one, it's kind of like, dude, like, if you're going to be doing this stuff, you should be able to figure that out. Right. Yeah. Read the code. The code tells you like exactly where to go, what to look for. But anyways, I charge my full rate for showing up just for that, even if it's that easy or if it's fuse or whatever. Sure. But I give myself an hour at a time, and that hour of time, if I get close to the end of that hour and I don't have good direction, like I don't feel like I'm really close to figuring this out, or I know it's going to take more time, then I meet with them and I say, hey, I've got to move on, because I have my day, for me personally, I have my day blocked off into hour sections. That's the way it works. I have so much work to get to that, like, I can't stay at a place much longer than an hour in order to get to everybody in a day. So then I'll talk to them and say, hey, I've got to reassess. I've got to sit down at a computer at home and think about how I'm going to tackle this, because I'm not getting anywhere. And it's going to be this much per hour going forwards on top of what, I'm already charging you. And then they decide, or they talk to the customer, hey, do you want to proceed with this? Do you want to, continue going? So that's my basic setup on how that is. Now, I have added some other things in as time has gone on. If I'm pulling out certain tools in the diagnostic, it goes up as well. So if I'm pulling out the Pico to do any type of scoping, like cam crank, or in cylinder or pressure waveforms or whatever I'm using the Pico for. Those are probably the most common. Cam crank. I actually don't use the Pico much for network stuff. I'd say 95% of my network stuff is done with a U-scope. But that's the other one. If I'm doing network communication codes, I have a higher rate for those, even just within that first hour. And I tell them up front, hey, this is a communication networks problem. And most shops are totally okay with that. They're like, well, yeah, we obviously can't get into this one. That's why we called you, and we'll pay for that. So I do have some tiers based on what I'm doing. I've added that as time's gone on. But that's pretty much the basics of it. And then I don't do intermittents. And I ask everybody right away, is this an intermittent problem? Can we duplicate it within 10 minutes? And if we can't, I'm not interested. And I still get thrown into a few because there's a lot of miscommunication between customers and service writers and the person calling me. And I'll show up and a car's not doing it. Or they didn't even know that it's intermittent, right? It was doing it for them yesterday and now it's not doing it for me now. But I try to get out of intermittence as soon as possible because it is the biggest time suck. And then I've got to charge and then I don't have an answer for them. And then they want me back when it's doing it again. And it is just a spiral that I try to avoid and get out of, even if I do step in it every once in a while.
No, that's definitely smart. Definitely smart. Yeah. Okay.
I just don't have the time for it,
Yeah. What you mean? So, just curious. So, let's say you get a cam correlation, a cam crank correlation code, and and ultimately in the back of my mind, you're like, you know what, I might have to use a Pico or any sort of oscilloscope, to check, timing. Okay. Yep. So, something like that. What would you charge? Like a couple hours at least, or I'm just curious.
It's like 1.5 my normal rate, I would say.
Okay.
Yeah. So like an hour and a half, I guess. Yeah. I would say that's if you're looking at it from a flat rate perspective, which I guess.
Well, between checking codes and whatever, and checking circuits, make sure all these sensors have powers and ground and signals and all that, and then you're like, okay, fuck it, let me check.
Yep. Okay. Exactly.
Yeah. We're almost the same. Obviously, you have it better than me. Planned out because you've got used to it. I'm sure you change it a little bit as you go.
That's exactly it. I don't want to make the perception that I had all this figured out. I've done it wrong. I've undercharged. I've screwed myself over plenty of times to realize, okay, I need to get this better, and also talk to other people, right? And seeing how other guys are doing this mobile, how other business owners are doing it, and say, oh, that does make sense. That's only fair to me. It's the right way to go about it, is to charge X amount for, what you're doing. And one of the biggest things for me was to not undervalue the things that were easy for me to do. Right.
Definitely. Yep.
If a particular test makes sense for me to run, that's the first thing I would do, is that cam crank correlation. And it's easy to hook up to the car and do that, but that's an advanced test. And it took a lot of experience in a lot of different areas of the car and learning the scope in order to do that test, interpret that test, have the networks to get the information to know if it's good or not. And easy in the moment, I have to remind myself a lot of the times that, just because it's easy to me right now doesn't mean that it's not worth, a higher value, because not everybody is going to be able, to do that test for a number of reasons I just listed. They don't have the experience, they don't have the tooling, they don't have the resources because you can scope a cam crank, lots of people can, but what do you do with it? I had that on Toyota the other day. I could not find a known good for this Toyota. Nobody had one, or at least within the time frame that I was working in, nobody had one. And so I'm like, well, this is kind of useless to me because I have nothing to compare it to. I'm pretty sure the timing's off, and it was. But I was like, I have to actually pursue this a different way because I don't have any way to prove it without that. But I'm going off track. Anyways, sorry.
Yeah, it's okay. No, it's okay.
Yeah, that one actually. They did head gaskets in this Toyota as a 3.5 liter in a Sienna, and
those never go out. Why would they have head gasket? Never have head gasket.
Well, they messed up the back exhaust cam somehow or another. They haven't disassembled it, but
Okay.
enough to where the valves clip the pistons, so the whole back head, it's
Let
got
me
to
ask
come
you
out
this,
and
dude.
everything.
So I just saw a video recently with Bernie Thompson with this Infinity
Yeah.
about the shifted kind of reluctor or whatever the pickup damn thing on the phaser, you know. And then I remembered back to an episode with you. I think about an Equinox with the shifted reluctor wheel. Like,
Hmm.
how bad does it need to be for that damn wheel? Because I mean, I've worked on so many Equinoxes. I have yet to see one reluctor wheel go to shit. How does that work?
Yeah.
Like,
It's
what?
so that's one of those weird things, right? Like I've
What
seen it a lot, but I think it's just because of what I do, right? Like most guys can knock those ecotechs out of the park. Like they recognize the problem, they're
Uh-huh.
moving on, they're done. They know how to do the timing, blindfolded because they've done so many. These are so common.
Uh-huh.
Um, I see it a lot because that's when I get the call. They did the timing
Uh-huh.
and it's it's not out. I see it more in the summer. I think the heat definitely has something to do with it, with that ring expanding. Although some of them, I think the vacuum pump also breaks, and that can cause them to shift.
Okay.
Um, but yeah, I do have that advantage sometimes going into a shop where they've done work. I got to be careful there because I have to assume, or at least I have to check that, hey, maybe they didn't do this work right. Just
Uh-huh.
because it's new, just because it's been done. Like I
Yeah.
still need to check it. But for those engines, again, those guys know how to do those things. I know these shops I go to, they've done 100 of these. So what else do I need to look at? What else could it be that's causing this issue?
Yeah.
If you get one of those with the reluctor shifted on the Ecotech, unplug the cam sensor. It's been the exhaust from what I've seen, but unplug it and the thing will start and run. It'll purr like a kitten. It'll extended crank, but it'll run like a kitten. Like just perfect besides the lights on and an extended crank. And then if you look at your cam crank waveform, it's not out as far as the tone wheel says that it is because it wouldn't be able to run as well as it does. But with that plugged in, it messes with the spark fuel delivery timing and the thing. I'm trying to remember what the last one did. If it was just a no start or if it was backfiring
Uh-huh.
too, because the timing of everything was way, way off because it's using that camshaft as a reference point. But once you unplug it, it doesn't have that anymore and
Yeah.
it'll go off of the other cam or a default and then it runs. It's fine. Yeah, that's the way I can tell on those. And then I'm like, hey, just take it apart. You're going to see that tone wheel got shifted.
You know what's funny about this tone wheels? You know, the first time I learned about this, or I've seen it happen, I want to say it's like around 2011,
Uh huh.
and it was on a Chrysler Sebring. Okay, and
What motor?
the 2.7. Okay, and
Mm,
I learned two things from there. First of all, not most of the time. Okay, for me it worked. Okay, is that you can save an engine if it has coolant and oil mixed in it because of that damn water pump, the internal water pump.
uh huh.
Because I did it on a most recent, like I think Explorer or Lincoln MKX, you know.
Sure.
And everybody's like, "No, dude, it's a head gasket." I'm like, "No, I'm pretty sure if I clean this really good, put this damn water pump, I guarantee you." And I remember that because I've had that scenario with the Sebring, and the same thing with the reluctor wheel. When I saw Bernie, and it was like, once you unplug the cam sensor, the car starts. I'm like, "Damn, that freaking reluctor wheel or something like that." Something to do with that phaser. It's shit, and I
Okay.
just remembered it. So
Okay.
in a way, it's good to have experience because you can reference it back, and you have a kind of you create a different sort of strategy when you're diagnosing cars, and I love it. You know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
That
dude.
that experience is huge.
You
Being
have
able
to.
to pull from
You
something
have to.
you dealt with years and years ago, and then it
Uh,
pops up on something new, right? This
I'll,
stuff's all
I'll,
like a big cycle.
I will never forget it. No, yeah, some things I will never forget. You know?
Yeah. It's usually
Yeah.
when you get your ass kicked, right? When you just get your ass
Exactly.
handed to you.
Exactly. Yes.
That,
Yes.
that stuff sticks with you, and it's clear as day the next time it comes around. Like, I'm not getting fooled again here. I know what to look for.
I know. You know, sometimes I love to get myself in trouble. Okay. Literally for one reason, so that in the future, okay, I can save myself if something happened, dude. Like one time, I don't know if I told you, it was my first time ever doing a Land Rover motor. Okay, and it was the big O, was it 5.0? I think it was. Yeah, the 5.0. It was a 2014, and the best way they said, I'm sure somebody else who has more experience does it a different way, but the best way is to remove the cab and leave the engine, whatever, with the frame. Kind of like how people, when they pull cabs off, F-150s, whatever, to do the timing. I usually do those in the car, honestly. I never pull the damn cab. I just have it memorized. Okay. And, pulling that, like, that was a bad scenario. Why the hell everything went really smooth. Don't get me wrong. That whole job with the Land Rover went really smooth. But, I had to travel. I had stuff going on, whatever. So I had to keep leaving it, whatever. So now I'm like at this thing, like, fuck. Am I going to remember where all these bolts go? Literally, you have to take all the bumpers off, all the liners off, just to make space, But, everybody walking in the shop, they're like, what the fuck? You did not expect it. This is something that should be at the back of the shop where nobody can see it, dude. Like, what the fuck? I'm like, yeah, don't worry, never again. I won't do this again. But now I know, just to have a different way of doing stuff. I like to do the job different way every time, honestly, if I can, assuming that I can, just to see, the difference of what's easier, what's faster. And what's more smooth, break less shit, basically, put more shit back, I'm sure we've all been in a scenario where we have bolts that are not back in, stuff like that. You know what I'm talking about.
I got a drawer full of bolts in my toolbox. I definitely did that when I was on flat rate. Is I would have done this alternator, this starter, or whatever so many times in a given application. But let me try it this way. Let me see. Do I have to take that bracket off, or can I get a pry bar in there and sneak this thing out, or so on and so forth? And you remember some of that stuff, and that's where a lot of your time saving stuff comes from. I remember the first time I figured out you could do a power steering pump in an Acadia Traverse style vehicle, where if you pulled the pulley off of the pump while it was still up in the vehicle, the pump just comes right out. You don't have to remove 75% of the stuff they want you to in the procedure. So it goes from a 6-hour book time pump to a 45-minute pump, and you're done. Like, and I was like, oh damn, that definitely worked. That was easy. And so stuff like that can, as a flat rate technician doing mechanical work, can really save you. But it's probably in diagnostics too.
Yeah, dude. It's funny you mentioned the Acadias and all that, 3.6. So I've done so many of those damn chains, okay? But I've quoted I want to say like at least 20 or 30 on those power steering pumps, and not a single person came. Not a single person came.
Really?
They're willing to spend $3,000 or whatever, to do chains, but the 500 to 700 to do it, nobody ever came. So I never experienced it. So, but thanks for letting me know. So if I ever get it, maybe.
If you do the front wheel drive ones, which there aren't that many, you can get them out without much of an issue. But the all wheel drive ones, the transfer unit is what's in the way in combination with the exhaust. So with the pulley on there, there's no room, and so you are supposed to drop a bunch of stuff off, but you just get your pulley remover up in there, yank the pulley off, and then the pump's like the size of your fist and just slips in and out right near the tie rod, and you're done in like 45 minutes. So
hell yeah.
But yeah, there's lots of little stuff like that. Flat rate, that's how you beat the book and got $100 in a week. It's just, things got to line up, and you got to have a lot of jobs like that. But you can figure it out,
dude. I would say, speaking about pay and all that, I'm pretty sure I was underpaid on every job that I've worked. Every single job I worked at, I guarantee I was underpaid. So
I know I was as a tech, especially after getting out there and seeing what is available to technicians. I'm like, I was severely underpaid for a lot of my career. I made up with it with productivity, but the rate that I was getting paid was minimal for what I was offering the shop. And that's not even just like to my own horn. And that is just like those. I knew that I saw the numbers at every week at what every other tech was producing for the shop, and it's so. Anyways, I mean, it is what it is. You got to learn somehow. You got to. I think it's definitely not the case for everybody. Some people are better at it, but you got to. you almost have to be undervalued and experience that to really like develop and figure out what your worth is. Like what does my time, what's the value of that? What should I be getting in return for my time as compensation? So that's something everybody's got to figure out. But that's also where, hey, maybe it's not the number that you want. Maybe you come to an honest conclusion. You're like, well, it's not that high value that I'm shooting for. And then that's where you do the things like you're doing, like seeking out new information and learning and growing and stuff like that. And you have the ability to make that dollar value higher by investing in yourself and going to classes and learning stuff and breaking things. And
I swear, I did not know all these things exist, So
yeah,
that's why I was like, it was an eye opener for me. Yeah. So for all those guys listening, don't be afraid, dude. The auto industry is way better than what you probably experienced on your shop or the shop before it. Okay. All those guys on the pages on Facebook and all them, they are all amazing guys, man. They want to help. They live just like how you have a passion for cars, they have a passion for cars. Just how you have a passion to help people, they're there to do the same thing,
Yep.
So yeah, dude, take a leap of faith, man. Seek one of these guys out. Pick I got Sean as my role model now, right? Yeah. So pick somebody close. Don't pick somebody all the way in freaking Hawaii. Like, dude, how are you gonna talk to him and see him?
Yeah.
But yeah,
that is good advice, is to find people local to you that you can meet up with or work with or even just contact. It's pretty cool.
Nudge you in the right direction, dude. Yeah, I mean,
yeah,
that's all it is. So I mean, I don't know if I got the. I want to make sure people get a kind of the right image on me. So the thing is, I'm not completely staying away from auto, but I thought about it. If I could get $300 to $500, whatever, to do a brake job, and I could do 10 of those a day, is way better than me saying $2-3 to swap a damn engine. Okay, so if I could do that. And I'll have enough time. By the way, you haven't seen my office that I made upstairs for the EPROM. I bought a desk and everything.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, and I got shelf for all the laptops. I'm slowly, adding on to my arsenal.
Nice.
Yeah. So I got my little masking tape. This laptop is Ford. This is for GM. This is whatever. Yeah. So the idea is to get those little jobs that you actually can turn a profit, and it has less comebacks, you can say, and less headaches, basically. Like, fuck, if you break a bolt on a damn caliper, fuck it. Throw the whole damn caliper and get another one. Who gives a shit? You know what I mean? You can't get another damn engine. Everything's on damn back order,
Yeah.
So stuff like that.
True.
So you got to think, I mean, yes, okay, the high risk, but unless you have somebody who's dedicated to do those big jobs, whatever, I mean, I found out, after 8 years that it's not worth it for me to take my time away from other things that I could probably make more money than I would, and that doesn't matter. I mean, if you're slow and you got time for it, dude, take that job in, make your money, whatever, make that customer happy. But if this is a one time, somebody who's calling, you probably never met him, and then it might be like a stupid job, dude. It's better to have no headache, than to take on something that is literally gonna might even ruin your reputation. You never know. Honestly, you're in there to try to help somebody, and then something happens, going to go downhill. So
right, I've heard the same thing from a lot of shop owners. Like they won't open an engine anymore, besides doing like a valve cover gasket or oil pan, because the amount of time and things that can go wrong by getting into an engine. And I understand there's arguments against this, but their policy is like, we just don't get into it because we have so much other work that is profitable, and there's an expected outcome that it's not going to deviate much from that, right? Like you say, like, okay, maybe we got to warranty the brake pads or do whatever on a brake job or a wheel bearing or suspension, but they have so much of that work that they're not getting into like in-depth head gaskets and timing chains and stuff like that. The only thing they'll do is a motor replacement in that case, to avoid the same scenarios that you're talking about. And it's the same thing for me too. Like I was talking about the diagnostics. If I'm stuck on a diag for 3 hours and I turn down 3 programming jobs in that time, I lost a lot of money just to try to figure out this car. Now, like you say, does that change my reputation with the shop if I'm turning down diag? I don't know. I mean, there's a double-edged sword there, but as a business owner or even somebody that's working on flat rate, you got to look at, what is going to make sense for me to make money at the end of the week or the month or whatever. You got to do that. I mean, we love this stuff, but at the same time, it's our job. You got to make some money. You got to be profitable.
Literally, we have to make a living. Hell yeah, dude. Yeah, we got to plan it right, but at the same time, not stress over stuff that little. Dude, the best advice I got? Okay,
what's that?
It's not your fucking car. That is the best advice I've ever got in my life.
Yeah.
Holy crap. Because, dude, I had some scenarios. Where I think if somebody else would literally sit down and cry. Okay? Because you have tried everything. Let me tell you this real quick. Okay? We had a Chevy Colorado. Okay? And it was, I think, 07, whatever. It was a 5-cylinder. Okay? And it had a misfire. Okay? And then keep in mind, I don't know what the hell a relative compression test back in the day. So, take out the damn coils and then do a freaking compression test, after we checked all that. So we finally do a compression test. Okay, I think it was cylinder 3 or 4, whatever. No compression. Okay, so like fuck, what the hell's going on? So we do a leak test. Okay, it turns out I think it had a burnt exhaust valve or something like that. Okay. So like, okay, fine. So there's a machine shop local to us that we always use, and I really like them. They're professional as fuck. Literally, yeah. It's this guy and his son. And they've been at it for freaking, since the Stone Age.
That should be on their business card. Professional as fuck.
Yes. Yes, dude. Oh, dude. Even their dog is a mechanic. You should see him. He's got a suit going on. All right. So this is a situation. So I end up doing, the head. And we do the timing chain because we already have it apart. It does not make sense to put the old one back in, because you got to think you're a business. You're not working at your house. This is not your wife's car, So if something happens, you can deal with it. No, this is a stranger who's coming to you, and you want to make sure they don't come back, talk about you, or be like, "What the hell did they fucking do?" Because I don't know who the hell you are, And in reality, you know what I mean? Yes, okay, you have a nice conversation, but that's the reality of it. You got to think like a business. So we did all that, right? The guy goes for like 3 months, okay? And then all of a sudden this fucking car is making noise. Okay? It's like, what the fuck? What do you mean? So freaking I didn't know. So and then I'm like, damn, this noise seems like a damn it's a fucked up phaser or something,
Okay.
So I redo the timing. Okay? It's fucking I do it, replace the oil, whatever. It's good for like another week. Comes back again. What the fuck? So I'm like, all right, where the hell is all this debris coming from? Okay, it turns out this thing has chain in the back of the damn motor. Okay, because we did the head in the car.
Okay.
And we were supposed to take the engine out to do the head technically, per service info. Okay.
What was the engine size on that one?
It was the 5-cylinder, so I don't remember which one it is. It was the 5-cylinder one.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, so that was really strange. I didn't know this, Because I'm just used to it, bro. I can see the damn, intake. I know how to take the intake. I know how to take the valve cover out. I know where the marks should be. I usually look up, service info, obviously to make sure I got the right marks, I know how to put the damn chain on, where the tension, where the water, all that stuff, But I didn't know there's a freaking timing chain in the back of the damn motor. And that ruined the whole thing, bro. The machine shop hated me because I ended up buying a core engine just so I could use the block because these had 2 balance shafts in the back of the motor.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
And one of them was seized, so I couldn't use the old engine.
Oh.
Yeah, so we had to redo the whole thing. And then I ended up losing a lot of money, but the guy at least paid for the parts, But that was one of the situations where before I knew ASOG, and all this. And this is where I'm coming to this advice. I wanted to, because after we did everything, it had a vibration. Okay, and it's almost like the crankshaft wasn't balanced in a way. I ended up getting the crank from crankshaft supply or whatever. But since everything is oversized bearings and all this, like everything is different. It is not at a regular engine anymore. It had a little vibration, and it's already a 5-cylinder, so I guarantee it's not supposed to be smooth. It's not a Volvo. Volvo is smooth. I love it. I've been driving Volvo forever. Okay, so I'm like, you know what? Let me just fucking put my pride to the side. Let me take it to this machine shop. These guys, I'm sure they know what an engine should sound like besides just rebuilding. They don't take the engine out. You have to take everything out to them. So I went there. I'm like, dude, I've already installed everything. These are all the parts that I put in. You already did the balance shaft for me. You did the head before. I don't know what else to do. The only thing I can think of is something going on with the engine internally that I don't even know,
Yeah.
Because, there's people, if you focus on one thing, you get really experienced and you can pick out some things. Yeah, I'm sure you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So the guy is like, yeah, this seems like the crankshaft wasn't balanced, from factory or something. So now that you have oversized bearings and different pistons and all that, that throws everything off. And it's normal, The car runs, pretty smooth except for the vibration, like it's not misfiring, it's not hesitating, it's not whatever. I'm like, dude, I don't know what to do, like, fuck. I mean, this guy's really nice. He spent a lot of money with me already,
Yeah.
And on top of that, like, I need to get back to my business. Like, this is taking so much time. I can't sleep at night. Oh, dude, there's no situation that could be worse for me and Craig, both of us,
Yeah.
And the guy's like, what the hell is wrong with you? I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, bro, that's not your fucking car. Why are you so pissed about it? Like, you didn't go and be like, hey, dude, you should buy this fucking Colorado so you can bring it to you so you can do all this fucking... It is not your fucking car. Stop worrying about it. Tell them go fucking trade it in. Who gives a fuck? Done. And I think that's why I've never seen the customer again, obviously. I don't think he likes me anymore. But I literally did everything, bro. Hours and hours trying to figure it out. Hours and hours trying to put it back. Hours and hours trying to find stuff,
Yeah. They're called, it's a hero car, right? And I used to work with a guy at Firestone. He'd always say, he's like, we don't get hero pay. Like that hourly rate that you get paid on flat rate is the same regardless of the vehicle, regardless if you're the hero, the guy with the cape. And there are times, I get it. There are times where you want to strive to be that guy and it makes sense and you can even be profitable, but there are definitely times where it's not.
Definitely. This is exactly what I'm saying,
Yep.
So, avoiding those jobs, like right now, if a Colorado car, somebody comes with hey, I don't need an engine on a car. Nope. Nope. We only do suspension. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah. Currently, we're only doing brake jobs. Fuck. Noah's not here. He's on vacation for 2 years. Get out of here. Yeah, dude. So that's what I do now. Instead of having competition and go through all that, I just, I try to pick up on the customer what they want, what kind of cars, whatever, and I usually just, back away or make up an excuse so that way they don't feel like, hey, I don't do these types of works. I just can't right now. Like I'm busy, like I'm booked out. I say these kind of excuses, whatever, so that way just to keep face,
Yep.
So that's and then at the same time, I'm avoiding catastrophe, basically,
Yeah. No, it's you do that, you get burnt on something, and it's the important part is that, okay, I learned my lesson and I know how to avoid this or when to avoid it in the future. And then, again, if you want to be profitable, you want to be efficient, you want to get all your work done, you have to do that. You can't get dragged down into the mud by every problem car that comes along, because there is a lot of them. I was looking up a picture while you were talking, because I knew somebody had talked to me about those Colorados before, or something about the balance shaft chain on the backside of the motor. I think it was a listener to a podcast a while back sent me a picture. He had a whining or like a whirring noise that he said it sounded like very similar to like a pump going out, whether that be like a transmission fluid pump or power steering pump or something like that.
Yep.
And it ended up being something to do, I don't know if it was the bearings, probably saying that they're seized. It was the bearings on these balance shafts. And so where the crank comes out of the back of the motor, where the flex plate would bolt to, there's a gear, and then there's a tensioner and a chain, and then a balance shaft on each side of that. But you got to pull the engine or the trans in order to even access that stuff.
Literally, yeah, dude. It was nuts. The guy hated doing the bearings for the balance shaft, dude. It was really hard to do, but thank God I didn't have to do it. But yeah, dude. And then, I think I had a Volkswagen, those 2 O's with one of the balance shaft C's, and then I got lucky, I did the chains and did one of the balance shaft, and the car ran, because I thought it was a seized motor, honestly, But after taking the chain, I could spin the crank a little, left a little bit, right a little bit,
Okay.
So, I ended up taking the head in for the machine shop, and then I got a balance shaft from the dealer and the timing chain kit, and I got it to work,
Nice.
I got lucky on that, but yeah, it's crazy. I don't know what it is, but I love timing chains, but I like to try new ones. I guess, you know what it is? I get bored easily.
Okay.
Like I already been here,
What's
like
the
everybody...
What's the most challenging one that you've done?
Definitely the damn Land Rover, because I did an engine, and then that car went, and then some dude out of nowhere is like, "Hey, do you do Land Rovers?" I'm like, I mean, I'm not an expert, but I'm sure I could, work on it. It might take me longer than somebody that does it every day, but I'm sure I can handle it. With you got service info, you got YouTube videos, whatever. I'm sure everything's available now. It's not like how it used to be. So he's like, "Oh, okay, yeah, because I need timing chains." I don't think what it was. I think they quoted him like 13 G's or whatever, do timing chains, And this car did not run, by the way, at all. And then I attempted it. The fucker took me a while because every step I am doing, I'm running back straight to service info. Like, hey, is this torque right? Because it was weird because on the right bank, kind of passenger side, whatever, you have to take the exhaust phaser and you have to tension it before you tighten it. Okay.
Oh,
like 30 degrees or 40 degrees. And then you go to left bank and then you got to tension the intake phaser the other way, kind of clockwise. I forgot, it's been a while. So you have to tension that before you tighten them. So like there's more steps, there's so much more steps to do it. But those timing chains were, they were definitely fun. I love it.
Yeah. I remember a Land Rover that I did. It was a pretty old one, but it had a timing belt on the front side of the engine. It was overhead cam. And so the belt would run, I think, the two intake cams. And then on the back side of the motor, it had timing belts on the backs of the heads that ran the exhaust cams.
LR4, I think?
Yeah.
LR4, yes.
I remember doing one of those. That sucked. The 4-cam Subaru timing belt without the special tools. Now, if you have the special tools, I think it makes it immensely easier, but I did a couple of those 4-cam Subarus without the special tools. Okay. That's a pain in the ass to do if you didn't trying to hold them
between the cams, or what? What'd you end up doing? How'd you lock up the thing with vice grips?
I used an Allen key to hold some of them, and then some vice grips, I think, was the other key. So
yes,
you get
That's
creative.
What I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. Yes.
You get creative.
Hell yeah, dude. Hell yeah.
I'm trying to think of some other ones that really kicked my butt. I think most of the time is when you didn't have the specialty tools that it would do it. I think anything with 4 cams though was a pain in the ass. I mean, a lot of the older timing belts that would have 4 cams maybe didn't even have special tools, and it just one of them ended up being off, and you're going back through it.
Do you think? I mean, for me, I think timing chains are easier. Literally because
timing chains are easier because you just set it to the link, right?
It's more time to do it, and with the silicone and all that, but I think
less
way easier.
air. Yeah. As long as you can read the picture and where the marks are. So, sometimes specialty tools, but like put that link here, put that link there. The colored one goes. That's it. More room for error with timing belts. 100%. 100%.
If you don't get the tension right. You know what I do is I retard the crank. Okay, so I set everything. I always do it this way. I retard the crank. I start from the tensioner and go clockwise.
Yep.
Okay. And then, I bring it to the crank, and the crank is retarded, and I put it all together. And then I turn the crank until that whole, the opposite side of the tensioner gets super tight,
Okay.
And then, by that time, I've already locked the cams,
Dude, the first time I did a Honda timing belt, right? I had done several. This was a few years into my career. Well, every motor I had done was a clockwise rotational engine. Well, in these Hondas, I think it was a CRV or I don't recall, but they're counterclockwise rotating because the front of the motor is on the opposite side. Yeah. And I'm setting up the belt like a clockwise rotational motor, and I keep being off, however many teeth because the slack's on the wrong side of the crank. And so I'm turning it, I'm turning the motor. Yeah. And so I finally realized like, oh, the tensioner's over here. Oh, this motor turns the other way.
Those are really weird because I feel like I found it easier to put the cams on last, after you lock them. It's really weird.
Okay.
Yeah, I found like to lock one cam and then to play with like the front, which is the exhaust cam, I believe.
Yeah.
To play with that, like to route the belt that way. I found it to be way easier because I would do the exactly what you said with the crank. I'll do it 3-4 times. Like, what the fuck? Come on, dude. You were literally dead on a minute ago.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, that's funny. Oh yeah, man. But yeah, and then what was I gonna say? So I don't know. Can we get back to EPROMs and MCUs because that's all I care about?
Yeah.
I'm sorry if I'm being annoying, but that's all I care about right now.
No, I get it.
And I hope people look into this more because I think that is a really cool thing to set yourself as a technician to be different than everybody else in the damn shop. Because if it gets down to damn board level, I don't think anybody would want to talk to you the same again. Basically, this guy knows what the fuck he's doing.
Most people are gonna run away from that.
Yeah, I bet, dude. So the one thing that I haven't, like I said, I'm still learning about it, whatever. I'm waiting for the moment to see it, with my own eyes. How sometimes it's better to take the damn EPROM out of the board, to read it, than to put it in because I think they were saying with the whole MCU, whatever, will bring the I don't know, the reading down, whatever it is, Can you explain a little bit, to those that.
Yeah. Well, when you connect to the EPROM to read the data that's in it, you can do it in circuit, which means it's still soldered to the board, or out of circuit, which means you've desoldered the EPROM with some hot air or something. And now the chip, that's smaller than your pinky nail is now, either in a device or soldered to another device. It's away from the board. And some of them you have to do that way. Some of them you don't. Sometimes it depends on the tool. AR32, really good at reading in circuit because the guys put a lot of work into that tool to make it do that. Other tools might not be able to do that, but then again, depends on the module. Pedro's class he did the other day, which is really cool on the Subaru thing. He read it in circuit, but he had module power going to it at the same time, and it wiped the EPROM and wiped all the information out of there. So that's obviously another risk that you have reading it in circuit. This is what I'm
talking about. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm talking about. How people short out the MCU or put a resistor or something, whatever that is. That's what I'm trying to get to the bottom of it. Maybe attention by the time we get to it. Yeah.
There's so much because each individual board's going to be different on what you have to do. A lot of it is shorten out the clock on the board, which sets the timing for how fast everything's talking on that circuit board. It's like a metronome, it's going to set the pace of all the words that are coming out of the processor. Right. And it's much faster than that. It's 1 billion times a second, but, you short that out so that your tool now is going to be able to talk and set the pace. Or at least that's my understanding. I'm not.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to get at.
Expert on this stuff.
Don't worry, we'll get to it. Yeah, hopefully the guys are expert. Or if you don't mind me asking, I'm hoping all the EPROM guys are super proficient. Way better than me. That's for sure. Hell yeah. If you guys can put something on the Facebook page that we're all in. We want to know, I want to know. I don't know about Sean if you're willing to do that because I know your 608 does everything, right?
I like to think that. It's been pretty good for me.
Yeah. So, the thing is, before I go crazy and buy all these scanners, I told Sean this, is I really want to do the hard stuff and get that out of the way and get a really, really good understanding of on the board level, and get better at it. So that way, when I do end up using, let's say, it's a 608 now, but maybe I'll talk to something that's even better than 608, when I'm ready to purchase that tool, I know what to look at because I guarantee you not every tool does every job. We know that, right? And then at the same time, there might be issues within the circuit that, if I can get better at the onboard on the level, on the board level, get better at it, then I'll be able to look at the 608 or something similar at the time, and be like, okay, this is not working because of this, if I do it a certain way. And so anyways, what I'm trying to get at is I was planning for this, this coming year is to try to purchase, most of the stuff for the EPROM. I do have VVDI, AR32, and I got some other stuff coming soon. But I want to know more about the subscription side of it. I understand some tools require subscription, but my understanding is just that way. If you have lost a file or you don't have a module present to clone or whatever, of that sort. I'm wondering, how should I say this? Sean, you want to explain it better about this? You know what I'm trying to ask.
I think what you're trying to ask, and correct me if I'm wrong, is is the tool going to be, a one-time purchase, or are you going to have either a yearly, monthly subscription, per use subscription? I don't know of any that are necessarily that way. But there are tools out there like IO Terminal. It's a one-time purchase, and the only other thing you'd have to buy is if they release another license to cover another module set, you'd purchase that. But that's that one-time purchase. Whereas Flex, for example, you buy the tool, right? You pay for it, and then there's a yearly subscription on top of it that you'd have to renew in order to use the features for the tool. So it's definitely something to look into. The cost of what you're getting, like, oh, it's X amount of dollars, but I have to pay, this much per year to keep it functional. I know this is an EEPROM stuff. That was one of the people's biggest qualms with the Drive Pro Auto Logic is you had to keep a $300 subscription per month on it, or the tool became pretty much useless. You stop paying that, and your tool that you purchased really doesn't do anything anymore. And a lot of people are kind of upset about that, know?
Well, that's the thing. Yeah. Sorry to interrupt you, but
no,
you said Flex that, you'd have to pay to keep the tool. But I've heard that Hexprog, which, hopefully the guys can answer this later in the private group, is I want to know, is this, Hexprog, the stuff, it's famous for the, BMW foot module, which I'm probably never going to see in my whole life, I didn't hear about it until that damn class,
Yeah.
So I heard that you can still use those little functions, but if you wanted to keep the tool going for updates, or there's something that's not available, whatever, that's what the subscription is for. That's how I understand it, But is it subscription just to use the damn tool, even for the programs that ever come with it, or not? That's what I want answered. And if it is, please kind of write it down, jot it down for so that way, instead of me asking nonstop, so when I'm ready to purchase, I could just search that subject and look into it, and that way I could plan out all my purchases.
Sure. Yeah, I bet you. I don't have Hexprog, but I'm willing to bet somebody listening does, so they can answer that question. I know that it does have a subscription, but I'm not sure if you let it lapse, whether that tool's functional or not. So the Autel, for instance, I do know on that, you can still use it for a number of the functions, but if you use it, you'll see a lot of the times it'll do some sort of online calculation or download from the server or whatever, and all of that stuff's going to be blanked out if you don't have an active subscription. A lot of the scan tools, if you don't have an active subscription on Autel, TopDon, Snap-on, you can't do the Secure Gateway auto off anymore. It has to be, you have to have an active subscription on that tool. And unfortunately, I think that's the world we're moving into, right? It's like even BMWs are going to now have subscriptions to keep your heated seats working. And everybody's just trying to, how do I make that regular passive income from my product,
And that's the thing is, Sean, I think this is the thing that I was trying to get at with this whole thing, because some people literally don't know, and I'm one of them, I have to literally do the research myself and ask a bunch of questions, whatever, we would like to know, if we were going to purchase this tool, I'm sure, if I haven't met you or, seen all these groups, I'll be like, oh my God, if I get the Autel 608, I could do keys for every car ever, forever.
Right.
Literally, until Autel goes out of business, I can still use it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And people don't know that, if you don't have the subscription, paid for and all that, no, you're fucked, So you have to plan everything right, and then, but definitely keep your business running, obviously, but, and then, but yeah, that's what I definitely want to know, is Cat 3, I keep telling you about it. I know I'm annoying now by now. You probably got to look it up after this,
Yeah.
Because the thing is about it, to me, what I think I understand it is, it's an Italian company, I believe. Okay. So, if it's in Europe, I'm pretty sure it has European coverage. Okay. And if it does have European coverage, I'm wondering, because it's such a great cloning device, I'm wondering if it could do what IO can do, so that I could avoiding IO and Hexprog, I could just buy one, but it's already so expensive. Like, fuck, I'm not gonna buy it for one damn car, you know? But then again, yeah. So like, that's the thing. So
that is the thing is, so many of these tools have overlap, and you end up finding like, oh, this tool will do blank, blank, and blank, but it won't do this one thing. So then you buy another tool that does this 90% of what you already had the capability to do, but then that 10%, this tool is necessary for it. That's where I've run into buying these tools. And then I forget that I have overlap between them. I forget that, oh yeah, this tool does this too. I just never use it for that feature because my other tool works for it. But that is a nice thing to have too, though, right? Like you have a couple tools that do the same job because invariably one of them doesn't work or the tool breaks. The tool just shuts down. I had a laptop crash on the other day. I'm like, shoot, that sucks. I got to get this figured out because it had software on it that I needed. So having some backups, sure, handy.
Let me tell you, where do you go to get your laptops? You just go online and stuff, or what do you do?
Yeah, I've pretty much just ordered them all online. I kind of just look for deals, whether it be Newegg, eBay. I bought from people before too. Okay. But yeah, that's pretty much it.
My advice for you, though, I think you should really look into Micro Center. Have you ever been there? Yeah, Micro Center. I actually worked there for a month.
Oh, okay.
Well, we're not gonna talk about that. But anyways, they literally have laptops for as low as $100.
Oh, damn!
Know? If you're literally gonna turn the damn laptop on, to do your little, whatever is easy program that you would do, whatever it is, I don't know, GM, whatever.
Yeah,
it will work perfectly. And on top of that, they have $40, $50, $60, $100 SSD drives if you want to. They have everything you need there.
Where's the store at?
St. Louis Park.
Okay.
Okay, so like actually, I have my brother. He's gonna buy me a TV, and he's gonna buy me this $100 laptop that I found at ASUS.
Is it all like refurb stuff or what?
No, they have everything. They have used, they have refurb, they have brand new, they have Apple, they have everything you can think of.
Damn, so it's all stolen,
they can even build. They can literally build you a computer. No, they can literally build you a computer if you want.
Okay.
Yeah. No, it's like somewhat. I think they're in every state almost.
Huh. Well, that's cool. I will definitely check that out. Thank you.
Yeah. So if you want anything local, Yeah. I thought you knew. That's why I don't want to say anything.
Well, I need a couple iPads. That's my next purchase. So we'll see if they have those.
Hell yeah, dude. Yeah. So
I'm looking at the website. Apple products. Yeah. I got watches.
Yeah, Apple owners are weird.
What, you don't have that blue text message?
I hate it, bro. The one where it said Sean liked a certain message. Like, get the fuck out of here. I hate it. Oh my god. You're too lazy to send me a smiley face? Come on, man. But yeah, dude. Yeah, so what are you thinking next about training, by the way? What are you gonna wait for Vision or what?
I'm probably not gonna hit up anything this year just because I'm prepping for my employee and that's a lot of work to get everything together.
Sure.
But in the spring, I don't know yet.
I mean, what is next though? Isn't it just Vision next year or something? I know
Vision's the next one I'm aware of. I'm sure there's others, but I couldn't tell you what they are off the top of my head. Okay. Oh, actually, I do know one. Super Saturday is like this next weekend, so that's kind of a big one. I won't be going to that. So that's in Pennsylvania, I believe.
Okay,
that's kind of a big one.
That's crazy. There's so much, dude.
There is. It's too much. You can't do it all. So you kind of have to pick and choose and see. For me, I really just need to. I kind of want to pick stuff that is closer, more local. There's not a ton of training around here. Actually, lately there really hasn't been much of anything around here. So that's what we need to do. We need to get something going here. Pick that time of year where there's nothing, and then have an event up here. Get people up to Minnesota.
I'll set up the tables, okay?
Okay.
Well, I know. Hey, I might not. I don't know if I can contribute. That's why I said all that. Hell yeah, dude. Yeah, if we get one here in Midwest, even like Wisconsin area, whatever, I'm definitely on the Dakotas, whatever.
Well, we got a lot of people from Canada when I held that E-Prom in June, awesome. Just because, they're in the same boat as in like, hey, if I'm going down to Vegas or ASTE or whatever, that's a really long way to travel. South Canada here, it's not that far for them.
Do you ever go on road trips? Would you ever be down to drive, or is it better to fly for you?
Well, after driving home from Vision, if and when I go again, I am definitely 100% driving. That really wasn't that bad of a drive. And that was in a snowstorm in the middle of the night. If it was just a normal drive, it's really not that bad at all. Yeah, I did a lot of road trip when I was younger. Not so big on it now. You give me 8 hours in the car, I'm just kind of like,
do you feel like we're getting too old too fast?
Well, time just goes faster every single year. It sucks.
No, but I mean, even the way we think, I'm sure we can handle driving, but it's just like the way we think,
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure we can handle it. My 70-some-year-old grandpa would drive from Michigan to Arizona every single year, and he was fine. And he'd drive the whole way. My grandma would never be behind the wheel. He'd do it every single time. And then, he finally into his 80s, he got to the point where he couldn't do that anymore. So yeah, I'm sure we could, but I can't sit still for that long. So I'd have to have stops planned.
Oh yeah. But
cool, man.
All right, dude.
Well, thanks for doing this with me. I appreciate it.
Oh yeah, man. No, man. Thank you.
Always good to talk to you. So.
Oh yeah, man. Awesome. Take care, buddy.
Yeah, you too.
Yeah, man.
All right, that's going to do it for today's episode. Big thank you to Noah for spending some time with me today. I appreciate it, and I will be liking your comments on our text messages, even though you don't have an iPhone. That's an inside joke. Thank you to everybody else for listening. I really appreciate it. Also want to remind anybody, if you're looking for any top-down equipment, I am official distributor of top-down scan tools, thermal imagers, battery chargers, all that stuff. Hit me up through the email that's in the show notes or Facebook Messenger, and I'll get you the podcast hookup. But other than that, let's all get out there. Start fixing the world one car at a time.